Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. This is my post on bad medicine, or how did I end up talking to a camera on YouTube? Well, if you've seen other videos, you might know that I started doing this to promote my novels, but it must have started before then, because what causes a person to drop out of the workforce and start writing novels? It's different for everyone, but for me, I think it started with a chia seed stuck back between my back molars. It somehow worked in there where I couldn't get it out. I didn't even know it was there. And it had burrowed deep down between the gums where floss couldn't reach it, nothing could reach it. And it started to smell bad at that location, but I rinsed it with antibacterial mouthwash and just kept going. The dentist put some antibacterial paste back there, but it didn't really fix the problem, so I just decided to ignore it and take it as part of life. Not smart. If you have any kind of dental problem, you need to deal with it. So at that time, I was working, parenting, and living in a constant state of exhaustion. Something in my back slipped out of place, and I ended up crawling on the floor until it healed. I'd been carrying around a heavy little girl, and it just was throwing me. My body was just breaking. Then I started losing weight. I wasn't hungry, or I wasn't eating enough, and I was feeling pains in my liver. I felt weak. I thought I was going to die. And I felt like I was going to die. The dominoes just kept falling, but I didn't react, and no one around me reacted either. On some level, this terrified me. So finally, when I weighed less than I did when I was 14, I went to see a doctor. Better late than never, and he couldn't find anything seriously wrong with me. My thyroid was probably recovering from my most recent pregnancy, and he thought that my liver pain had something to do with stress and with my back injury. I was just glad that I didn't have cancer or hepatitis. So after this visit to the doctor, I just decided to ignore my problems and soldier on. Just keep going and it'll get better, right? Life isn't supposed to be easy, and I'm tough, right? Hard as nails. I broke my back when I was 15 years old and had 2 painful operations, and I delivered 3 babies without anesthesia. Life is pain, and I can handle it. At this point, the dentist, I still had this problem with my tooth. The dentist needed to drill into my back teeth. This was my first cavity ever. And lo and behold, there it was. A chia seed, the source of all of my troubles. Free at last. After the chia seed had been removed from my gums, I put on weight again and started to feel healthy again. But my mind had not yet recovered from the shock of what had felt like a near-death experience. I felt like I felt like I was dying, and that it was like falling without a net. And this had changed me inside, even though my health was recovering. I was now approaching life like a person who could die tomorrow, and things that would have ordinarily mattered to me, like money or my career, had suddenly become completely meaningless. At this point, I decided that I wanted to create something worthwhile or meaningful that I could give to my children and to the world. that is when I started writing everything. And this process has been going on for a few years now. And I'm starting to learn to pay more attention to my body and to not ignore pain, because that's just sort of how I conditioned myself to get through most of my life. And I've just now built up the courage to visit a doctor about this 25-year-old spinal injury that I've always just tried to ignore. And I still do not want to have the medical industry send me through their system. I am still afraid of that, because I picture myself getting rejected for being damaged and weak, and having to turn to the mental health industry for support, and they would turn me into, just a pathetic person who can't fend for herself. And I guess I'm just trying to learn to trust the systems that civilization has developed, because I associate them with failure and just weakness. So maybe something will come of all of this. Maybe something will come of my writing and this expression of this attempt to speak out to the world, and I will thank that chia seed that almost killed me. Maybe not, and that's okay too. Either way, this has been an adventure, and there are still a few things I'd like to do. I am feeling like at the moment, I'm feeling like my writing journey has run its course for the time being, and I might even rejoin the workforce and just kind of try to complete the writing projects I've already started but I haven't completed. And I don't feel like this would be a failure, because variety is the spice of life, and I like to stay busy. Thank you for watching this personal story, and the other videos will be more scientific and technical and analytic. So until then, thanks for watching, and check out my novels.